They said beauty runs in blood, but so does jealousy. In Ukana Kingdom, two sisters were born under the same roof, one with a heart of gold, the other with a shadowed soul. And when envy took root, even death could not silence its cry. Oh! In the days when the moon was still young, and kings ruled with the wisdom of their ancestors, there lived two sisters in the proud land of Ukana, where beauty bloomed like hibiscus after rain, and envy hid in shadows waiting for a careless heart. Ukana Kingdom rested in a valley blessed by the gods. The people were farmers, hunters, and traders, known for their songs and laughter that filled the evenings like the hum of crickets. But within the cheerful rhythm of the kingdom, one family carried a quiet sorrow. Mama Ifyinanya had once been the pride of Ukana. She was gentle yet strong, the kind of woman whose smile could calm quarrels. Her husband, Obi, had been a brave warrior who died defending the kingdom when the northern raiders came. On the day they buried him, the heavens wept, and even the elders said, "A good tree has fallen." He left behind two daughters, Nene and Oma. Nene, the elder, was like sunlight on water, calm, warm, and clear. From a young age, she helped her mother with the chores, fetched water for the old, and shared her food with those who had none. When she smiled, the market women would say, "Ah, this child will bring blessings to our land." Oma, on the other hand, was beautiful too, the kind of beauty that could make men forget their own names. But her beauty carried pride like a thorn beneath a rose. She would often stare at her reflection in the clay pot water and whisper, "No one in this village is as fine as me." Nene would laugh softly and say, "Oma, beauty is like the morning dew. It fades when the sun rises." Oma would roll her eyes. "That is what ugly people say." Their mother often sighed and prayed, "Chukwu, may peace reign between my daughters." But even she could see the quiet fire burning in Oma's eyes, a fire that envy had begun to feed. As the girls grew, their paths drew further apart. Nene spent her mornings in the market helping traders arrange their goods, her afternoons at the stream washing clothes for widows, and her evenings tending to her mother's small farm. She never complained. The villagers loved her, calling her Ada Ukana, the daughter of the land. Children followed her, women blessed her, and men dreamed of her. Oma hated every bit of it. "Why does everyone sing Nene's name?" she would mutter. "She is not the only daughter of Ukana." One afternoon, while Nene helped an old blind man cross the road, Oma watched from a distance and hissed. "She thinks she's a saint," she spat. "All this kindness, it's just to impress people." When their mother returned from the market, she found Oma pounding yam furiously. "My daughter, why do you pound like you're fighting the mortar?" "Because I'm tired of hearing Nene this, Nene that," she shouted. "Can't people see through her pretending?" Mama Ifyinanya shook her head. "A kind heart is never pretending, Oma. A jealous one only pretends to be content." Oma turned away, blinking fast to hide the tears that threatened to fall. She did not hate her sister's goodness. She hated how it made her feel small. One dry season, news spread through Ukana like wildfire. The messenger of King Ofoma of Nro Kingdom, a powerful ruler from across the eastern hills, had arrived with a royal decree. "The crown prince, Afam, shall take a bride from Ukana. The king of Nro desires to bind both kingdoms as one through marriage and peace." The announcement stirred the hearts of every maiden in Ukana. They whispered, giggled, and dreamed. The prince was known far and wide, handsome, educated, noble, the kind of man whose presence made even the boldest warriors bow. For days, the palace of King Abadike of Ukana was filled with women hoping to be chosen. But when the king consulted his elders and the priests, one name kept returning to their lips. "Nene." "She is humble," said the chief priest. "She loves her people," said the market women. "She will make Ukana proud," said the elders. Even the king himself smiled. "Then it is settled. The prince shall meet Nene, daughter of the late warrior Obi." When the news reached Mama Ifyinanya's compound, Oma dropped the water pot she was carrying. "What did you say?" she gasped. The king has chosen your sister, the neighbors said with joy. Nene will be bride to the prince. Nene, stunned, clasped her hands. Me? Oh no, I am just a village girl. There are maidens more beautiful more. Mama Ifyananya touched her shoulder gently. When a drum is meant for a festival, even the gods will not let it hide in the bush.
Oma stod frozen.
Inside her heart, something cracked. A few days later, drums thundered across Ukana. The dust road shimmered as the royal chariots of Nro arrived, golden and proud. Prince Afam stepped down, tall, broad-shouldered, his skin gleaming like polished bronze, and his eyes calm as the moon. The maidens gasped and covered their faces shyly. When he entered the palace, King Abadike greeted him warmly. After the formalities, the king said, "My prince, the maiden we have chosen for you is one who carries the heart of Ukana in her chest. Her name is Nene." The prince nodded, intrigued. "Let her be called forth." When Nene walked in, wearing a simple white wrapper and coral beads, silence fell. She bowed low, not daring to meet his eyes. But when she finally lifted her gaze, their eyes met, and the prince's heart trembled. Her beauty was gentle, not loud. It was the kind that drew you close like a quiet song. He smiled. "You are Nene?" "Yes, my prince," she said softly. "You have a pure spirit," he murmured. "I felt it before you even spoke." King Abadike beamed. "Then it is settled. Ukana and Nro shall be bound by this union." The drums beat again. The maidens sang. But far away, under the mango tree behind their home, Oma sat alone, her nails digging into her palms. When Nene returned home, her joy overflowed.
Oma.
"You won't believe. I already heard." Oma cut her off coldly. "I wanted to tell you myself," Nene said softly. "The prince is kind and—" "Spare me the details," Oma snapped, rising to leave. "Enjoy your new life, Princess Nene of Ukana." Her words were sharp, but her heart was bleeding. That night, while Mama Ifyananya and Nene thanked God by the oil lamp, Oma sat by her window, staring into the dark fields. A strange thought whispered into her mind. Dark, daring, and dangerous. If she were gone, everything could be yours. She shook her head quickly, clutching her chest. "No, she's my sister." But the whisper came again. "And yet she took everything, the crown, the love, the praise." Oma pressed her hands to her ears, but envy had already found its way in. In the days that followed, the palace prepared for Nene's journey to Nro Kingdom. The people brought gifts, baskets of yam, jars of honey, rolls of cloth. The king himself promised to escort her halfway to the border. Nene's beauty glowed brighter than ever, not from pride, but peace. She moved with a grace that made even the wind pause. But her sister watched in silence, her mind weaving shadows. At night, Oma sought the company of Igil, the herbalist who lived at the edge of the forest, a man feared by all. When she entered his hut, the air smelled of smoke and secrets. "Igil," she whispered, trembling. "I need something. Something that will make my sister sleep forever." The old man looked up, his eyes like fireflies in the dark. "Blood against blood?"
Oma swallowed it.
"Just make it painless." He chuckled. "There is no painless envy, my child." He handed her a small gourd. "One drop in her food. The gods will take care of the rest." Her hands shook as she paid him and fled into the night. The moon was full, painting Ukana in silver light. The villagers gathered for Nene's farewell feast. Songs filled the air, praises rose, and the prince's gifts sparkled like stars. Oma forced a smile and danced beside her sister, though her heart pounded like a drum of war. Later, when the crowd had gone and their mother had gone to bed, Oma approached Nene's room with the calabash of warm porridge. "Sister," she said softly, "I made this for you, for strength on your journey." Nene smiled tiredly. "Oma, you didn't have to. You've done so much for me. Let me do something for you too." Nene took a few spoons. "Thank you, my sister." Oma watched her drink, her heart racing, tears burning behind her eyes. When Nene smiled weakly and said, "Good night," Oma whispered back, "Sleep well, forever." At dawn the cock crowed once, twice, thrice. But Nene did not rise. Mama Ifyinanya called her. No answer. She touched her daughter's arm, cold. Her scream tore through the village like thunder. "Nene! My child! Nene!" Villagers rushed in, wailing. The king's messengers came, the healers came, but it was too late. Nene, the light of Ukana, was gone. Oma collapsed beside the body, pretending to weep, but her soul shook with guilt and fear. The people mourned for 7 days. Even the birds seemed silent. The prince, upon hearing the news, tore his garments and swore to honor her memory forever. But the earth does not keep secrets forever, and the spirit of one wronged does not rest. That night, as the mourners left and silence settled, Oma lay awake. A cold breeze slipped through the window, carrying a soft voice.
Oma.
She sat up, trembling. "Who's there?" "Sister." Nene stood at the doorway, her white wrapper glowing faintly, her eyes calm but sad. "Oma," she said, "why did you do it?" Oma screamed, covering her face. "No. You're dead." Nene's spirit stepped closer. "Yes, and because of you. But my soul cannot rest until the truth is known." The lamp flickered out. The night swallowed the scream that followed. When envy drinks from the same cup as love, the heart forgets the taste of peace. And when blood cries from the earth, even the gods turn to listen. 7 days had passed since the burial. The drums of mourning had gone silent, and the ashes from the funeral fires cooled beneath the harmattan wind. The villagers returned to their farms, their hearts heavy with sorrow, yet eager to forget what their eyes had seen. But Ukana Kingdom could not find rest. At night, dogs barked at nothing. Pots broke on their own. The wind howled through the palm trees like a woman weeping. Those who passed near the old footpath to the stream swore they saw a pale light moving among the trees, soft at first, then glowing brighter before fading into the mist. "It is Nene," whispered the old women, clutching their wrappers. "Her spirit walks." Mama Ifyinanya refused to believe it. "No. My daughter is with the ancestors. She was pure. She cannot wander." But even she began to tremble when she heard footsteps outside her hut at midnight. Gentle, familiar footsteps, and a soft voice calling, "Manga." When she opened the door, the night was empty, but the air smelled faintly of jasmine, Nene's favorite flower. Oma's guilt grew heavier than iron. She could not eat. She could not sleep. When she closed her eyes, she saw her sister's face, pale, still, and accusing. During the day, she wore mourning cloth and pretended to grieve, but her hands shook whenever she touched water. At night, she heard whispers. "Sister, why did you poison me? I trusted you, Oma." She would jump up, heart racing, shouting, "Leave me alone!" But the voice never stopped. One night, while fetching water at the stream, she saw a reflection beside hers. Nene's reflection, smiling softly. Oma screamed, dropping her calabash, and ran until her legs gave out. When she looked back, the water was calm again, as if nothing had happened. By the next moon, her once radiant face had grown hollow. The villagers began to whisper, "Is Oma cursed?" Her eyes no longer shine. She walks as though the dead follow her. She wanted to confess, but fear gripped her throat like a viper. Ukana's peace shattered piece by piece. Goats disappeared mysteriously. The river overflowed its banks, drowning crops. The priest's shrine bird refused to sing. Even the king's guards complained of hearing footsteps in the royal courtyard when no one was there. The elders gathered under the Udala tree to seek answers. Chief Ukana spoke first. "This is no ordinary misfortune. The land is angry." The oldest elder, his voice trembling, said, "A soul cries for justice. Until the truth is spoken, Ukana shall know no rest." They went to the king, bowing low. "My lord," said Chief Ukana, "you must summon the priest. Only the eyes of the gods can reveal what hand has brought this curse." The king, weary and fearful, nodded. So it shall be. The next morning, the king's messengers rode to the sacred hills to bring Dibia Agwefai, the oldest priest in 3 kingdoms. When he arrived, his hair was white as cotton, and his eyes sharp as eagle's sight. He carried a staff carved with cowries and charms, and the sound of his anklets made even warriors step aside. He entered the palace courtyard where the people had gathered, men, women, and children, their faces tense with fear. The king bowed slightly. Great One, the peace of Ukana is gone. The river rises, the night speaks, and the people are afraid. What do the gods say? The priest planted his staff firmly into the ground. The spirits speak through the wind, he said. Bring me a calabash of water, a cock, and a strand of hair from the dead maiden Nene. The items were brought. He murmured incantations, drew symbols in the dust, and sprinkled white chalk. Then suddenly the cock shrieked and fell dead. The crowd gasped. Agwefai raised his hand. The innocent has been wronged. Her death was not written by the gods. Her blood calls from the earth for vengeance. He turned to the crowd. Until the truth is spoken, this land will rot from within. Murmurs filled the air like bees around honey. The king's brow furrowed. Who did this thing? The priest closed his eyes, then pointed slowly toward the crowd. His staff stopped at Oma. The crowd gasped.
Oma esknis bukled.
No, no, not me, she cried. The priest's eyes burned. Your sister calls your name every night. Even now her spirit stands behind you. Oma turned, and there she was. Nene's spirit shimmered in the daylight. Not frightening, but sorrowful, her wrapper flowing like mist, her eyes filled with tears. Oma, she whispered. I loved you. Oma screamed, clutching her chest. I didn't mean to. Nene. They said he should have chosen me. I was jealous, but I didn't mean. Before she could finish, thunder cracked across the sky. The wind howled through the palm trees, blowing sand and leaves. The people fell to their knees. The priest lifted his staff. The gods have heard. The curse of envy is upon this house. Oma fell, weeping uncontrollably. Forgive me, Nene. Please forgive me. But Nene's spirit only shook her head gently. Forgiveness belongs to the gods, not to me. And with that, she vanished into thin air, leaving only a faint scent of flowers. After that day, Ukana never saw peace again. The rains came too early. Crops refused to grow. The villagers begged the king to cleanse the land. The priest returned once more and said, The blood that stained this soil must leave it. Send the murderer away. Only then will the curse be lifted. And so it was decided. The next morning, the gong sounded through the land. The king's voice echoed, Oma, daughter of Obi, for spilling the blood of your sister and bringing sorrow upon Ukana, you shall be banished beyond the hills. You shall walk until your feet find no rest. Mama Ifyinanya fell to her knees, crying, My lord, she is still my child. The king shook his head sadly. A snake in the house cannot be allowed to sleep. Oma was led away. The people spat at her as she passed, but some looked on with pity. She walked barefoot, her once beautiful hair unkempt, her eyes swollen with tears. At the edge of the village, she turned one last time and whispered to the wind, Nene, if you can hear me, I am sorry. May your spirit find peace. Then she vanished into the wilderness, her figure swallowed by dust. That night, Mama Ifyinanya knelt by the hearth, praying, O Nene, my daughter, if your spirit still lingers, please have mercy on your sister. She has paid for her sin. Let our land rest. A soft wind blew through the hut. The oil lamp flickered, and Nene's gentle voice filled the room. Mama, my heart is no longer bitter. The gods have judged. The land will heal. Do not weep for me. The old woman raised her eyes and saw her daughter's spirit smiling faintly before fading into light. At dawn, the air felt lighter. The birds sang again. The river calmed. The crops began to sprout. Ukana was free. Far away, Oma wandered the forests for days. Hungry, tired, and broken, she drank from streams, slept under trees, and spoke to the wind as though it were her sister. "Nene," she would whisper, "I see your kindness now. I was blind, poisoned by envy. I deserve this pain." One night, she came across a small shrine by the riverside, an abandoned altar of the forgotten goddess, Enyenmu, the spirit of redemption. She knelt and wept until her tears mixed with the river. "If the gods can forgive, let my soul be clean again," she prayed. The harmattan winds had returned to Ukana, dry and sharp, carrying dust that painted the world in shades of gold and gray. Seasons had passed since Oma's exile, yet her name still traveled in whispers. Some said she wandered in distant lands, living as a beggar with ashes on her head. Others claimed she had joined the spirits, taken by madness and grief. None knew for sure and none cared to find out. The once proud daughter of Mma Uju had become a forgotten ghost in the stories told to warn young maidens about envy. But far away, beyond the 7 rivers and the hills of Orinta, Oma still lived, barely. Her beauty had faded under the weight of hardship. Her skin, once smooth as ripe plantain, was now dull and scarred by sun and sorrow. She lived among strangers, weaving mats to survive and sleeping in a hut made of reed and broken clay. But every night, as she closed her eyes, she saw Nene, glowing, calm, and sad. The ghost never spoke, only looked at her with eyes that bled forgiveness and pain. Oma would wake with a scream, her hands clutching her chest, trembling as though the earth itself had shaken beneath her. The years turned slowly, and the burden in her heart grew heavier than stone. No river could wash it away, no dream could quiet her guilt. Until one night, a dream unlike the others came. Oma stood on a hill surrounded by mist. The moon was full, but its light fell gently like tears. In front of her flowed a river so clear that she could see the bottom. And there, within the ripples, Nene stood, dressed in white, her feet barely touching the water. "Oma!" The voice echoed like a whisper of wind through bamboo. "The time of wandering is over." Oma fell to her knees, trembling. "Sister, forgive me. I was blind, jealous, foolish. I let darkness eat my heart." Nene's ghost smiled faintly. "Forgiveness is not a word, Oma. It is a path. You must return to Ukana. Mother still cries beneath the udu tree where we once played. The land mourns not only me, but you too. The peace of Ukana cannot return until you find yours." "But I am cursed," Oma sobbed. "Even the earth rejects me." "Then go and touch it again," Nene said softly. "Only truth can break the curse." The wind blew, and the image faded, leaving Oma alone on the hill. When she woke, her face was wet with tears, and her heart, though heavy, felt strangely light. At dawn, she packed her small bundle, just a worn wrapper, a gourd of water, and a carved pendant Nene had once given her. Without looking back, she began the long journey home. The road to Ukana was long and cruel. The sun burned her back by day, the cold bit her skin by night, but Oma pressed on, barefoot, fasting, and praying as she walked. Villagers she met along the way gave her food and water, pitying the woman who looked half-spirit herself. She never gave her name. She was simply the wanderer. On the 7th day, she reached the outskirts of Ukana. The familiar red earth stretched before her like a memory. The sound of children laughing in the distance pierced her heart like a blade. But Ukana had changed. The village that once sang with festivals now sat in gloom. Crops refused to grow, streams had turned brown, and sickness had spread among the children. Many said the gods had turned their backs on them since Nene's death. The elders had made sacrifices, the priests had prayed, but the land remained barren. When Oma reached the village square, no one recognized her. Her face was covered in dust, her clothes torn. She went to the old udu tree, the very tree under which Nene once sang songs of hope. Mma Uju sat there, frail and gray-haired, talking softly to the wind. "Mother," Oma whispered. The old woman froze. Slowly, she turned her face, and her eyes widened in disbelief.
Oma!
"Is it you, my child?" Oma fell to her knees and wept, clutching her mother's feet. "Mother, forgive me. I have returned, not as the proud daughter you raised, but as the shadow of my sins." Mma Uju's voice trembled. "Oh, child, you have come back. I prayed for this day, even when others said you were dead. I asked the gods to return you, not for me, but for your sister's spirit." Oma's tears fell to the earth, and for the first time in many seasons, the wind around the Udu tree felt cool and kind. That evening, the elders gathered when news spread that Oma had returned. The high priest, Nene, stood before her, his white robe fluttering in the wind. "Child of Uju," he said solemnly, "your hands are stained with blood, not only of your sister but of our peace. Yet the spirits have allowed your feet to touch this soil again. That means there is still a window of mercy. Will you face the trial of cleansing?" Oma bowed her head. "I will, father, even if it costs my life." The villagers murmured. Some wanted her banished again. Others said perhaps her return was a sign of hope. At midnight, they led her to the river Nkwo, where Nene's spirit had last been seen. The moon shone bright, and the water glimmered like molten silver. The priest drew lines of chalk on Oma's forehead and chest. "You will stand in the river till dawn," he declared. "If the spirits accept your repentance, you will live. If not, the river will claim you." Oma waded in, trembling. The water was icy cold. She stood still, her arms crossed over her heart, her lips murmuring prayers. Hours passed. The villagers watched from the shore, silent and afraid. Then, just before dawn, a strange mist began to rise from the water. The air grew thick, and a faint hum filled the air, the kind that vibrated deep in the bones. Out of the mist came a figure, radiant, graceful, barefoot upon the water. It was Nene. The crowd gasped and fell to their knees. Oma raised her head, her face pale with awe and terror. "Sister," the ghost smiled, serene as moonlight. "You have returned the way you should have lived, with humility." The water began to shimmer. Nene's spirit stretched out her hand and touched Oma's head. A soft cry escaped Oma's lips as a warm light spread through her body. The river seemed to sigh in relief, its surface glowing faintly. Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the light faded. Nene's form dissolved into the morning mist. The priest lifted his staff. "The curse is broken. Ukana shall breathe again." The villagers shouted in joy. Some fell to the ground in tears. Others danced, praising the gods. Oma collapsed, exhausted but alive. In the days that followed, Ukana began to heal. Rain fell for the first time in months, soaking the dry earth. The streams cleared, the crops sprouted green again, and laughter returned to the air. Oma, however, chose to live quietly. She helped the sick, fed the hungry, and rebuilt huts for widows. She refused gifts, saying, "Let my hands serve, not take." The people who once cursed her began to honor her as a living symbol of repentance. One day, the king of Ukana himself summoned her. "Oma," he said, "you have turned your shame into light. The gods have seen your heart. What do you desire?" She bowed deeply. "Nothing, my king. My desire is to live humbly, to teach others that jealousy is a fire that consumes even the heart that lights it." The king nodded solemnly. "Then may the land remember your lesson." One evening, Oma returned to the river Nkwo, now clear and calm. She knelt by the bank and whispered, "Sister, I have done as you wished. The land is at peace." Mother smiles again. A soft breeze rustled the reeds. In the reflection of the water, she saw Nene's face, smiling, radiant, free. "Live well, Oma," the voice whispered. "Our story has become a song for others to learn from." As the sun dipped behind the hills, Oma felt a weight lift from her heart. For the first time in many years, she breathed without pain. She stood, raised her face to the sky, and smiled. Ukana would never forget the tale of the two sisters, one consumed by envy, the other reborn through forgiveness. Generations later, the people of Ukana still told their story by the fireside. Mothers would say to their daughters, "Be kind like Nene, But if you ever stray like Oma, return quickly, for even the darkest night can end in dawn. And when the wind rustled through the udu tree, villagers swore they could hear the laughter of two sisters, one mortal, one spirit, dancing together in eternal peace.